Well, hello. Well, I've performed across the world in New York and San Francisco and Miami and all over India. So I'm one of the top three female comics in India today. Also, one of the only three female comics in India today. You know how people come to a comedy show and they sit like this? Make me. And I'm like, no, you've got us wrong. We're not going to force you to laugh. We're not rapists. The way it works is you come to us. You pay us money. We provide a service. Kind of like prostitutes. With one major difference. I'm kidding, there is no difference. So I had a speech impairment growing up. I couldn't pronounce the S letter. I used to make it SH. I used to make it sh. So if I wanted to say sun, I would say shun, right. The trouble began the first day of school. They had me recite Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. I just went downhill from there. They pulled me in front of the assembly and had me sing God Save the Queen. I grew up, some went to the United States. This guy wanted change for a $20 bill. He wanted 2 10s. I didn't have it. I said, I can give you shingles. No, it's funny to you. It's cruel from where I shit. And this priest came home. My mother wasn't in. I asked him if he'd mind waiting in the sitting room. And this friend of mine, she had a speech impediment as well. She couldn't pronounce the k letter. She used to make it ch, ch. It was embarrassing when we go to restaurants. She'd be like, Bhai sahab, ek chammach aur ek chanta de do. And when I got back from the US, I realized that we as Indians do some funny things with the English language. We make singular into plural and plural into singular where it's not warranted. So people will be like, oh, congratulations. Or they'll be like, nahi, baithne de ladies hai. And that happened to me recently. I was looking for my cell phone. I asked my mother if she'd seen it. She's like, yes, take it out of my drawers. And I was like, that ain't happening. I don't even know why she put it there in the first place. And I have to stop putting my phone on vibrate. I'm so glad James Bond wasn't born in India, because then it wouldn't be my name is Bond, James Bond. It would be myself, James Bond, madam. So you guys, have you traveled to Bangalore? Yeah? I studied there. It's good to know. Thanks for sharing. What else did you do there? Okay. All right. So I love Bangalore. I love the city. I love everything about it. I just have one question. Why is the Bangalore airport located in Chennai? So Obama said something about my comedy. He said, Vasu Primlani? Never heard of her. Does anyone have a miser for a dad, a kanjoos makichus? Anything? See, the thing is, I'm Sindhi. My father gets the dead, dying, and unripe of every vegetable and fruit because it's cheaper. My mother had to conduct CPR on these vegetables before she could cook them. He would get nibus that are so small, we had to aim to cut them. Okay, one day we opened the fridge. The limes were like double the size, still solid green. We're like so happy. We're like, Papa ki to lottery lagi. We happily cut them open. Turned out to be oranges. You know how your in-laws, your parents will praise you to your in-laws when you're about to get married? They're like, हाँ हमारी बेटी इतनी सुशील गुणवंती विदुषी है, खाना बनाना जानती है, मुगलाई चाइनीज जो बोली, सिलाई जानती है, कढ़ाई जानती है, पर्दे भी टांग देगी, गाना गाना जानती है, आप आजमाइए, आपको शिकायत का मौका नहीं देगी. Not so my mother. One guy went down on a knee in front of my mother and said, Indra auntie, I'd like to marry Vasu. My mother was like, why beta? Get yourself a nice girl. But it's really thanks to my mother that I can walk fearlessly in any city across the world. She told me, if anyone ever kidnaps you, they will return you in 3 days and pay me money to take you back. But you know, they make up rules as they go along. There is no guidebook to being a mother. I was sitting right next to my mother. My sister was sitting across the table. She did something she wasn't supposed to. My mother turned around, slapped me right across the face. I'm like, but I didn't do anything. She's like, sorry, beta, you were closer. And George Bush did the exact same thing with Iraq and Afghanistan. It's the same argument. Y'all look the same to me. But I'll tell you this, there's a difference between Delhi men and Mumbai men. Yeah? Delhi men, I find, are immature. They take offense at the jokes I make about them. Not so Mumbai men. Mumbai men have no problem by making jokes about Delhi men. But you know, facial hair in a guy really tells you a lot about him. Like, for instance, I mean, if there's a guy who's clean shaven, he's like, I'm domesticated, I'm housebroken, you can kiss me all over my face. Then there are those just hair grew around them, kind of just, you know, they're clearly single, they don't know what to do about it. They're helpless in the hands of their hair. Then there's the beards and the sardars of the world. They're just a challenge to every sardarni across the world. Himmat hai to pasa. Himmat hai to kiss kar. Dhoon, kahan kiss karegi? And then there's this mustache. The Rajneesh mustache. That says I'm the boss of the house. And this is why among Sindhis, the men are clean shaven and the women have this. Thank you. Have a great rest of the evening.
You guys having a good time? Yeah? My parents are having a tough time, adjusting to my career choice. Especially when they meet their friends, their friends will ask them stuff like, "तो बेटा करता क्या है आजकल?" Like, जी वो जोक सुनाता है. One of the most common questions I get is, how do you write jokes? Where does the material come from? And I'm like, material can come from anywhere because I think anything in life can be funny. For instance, I read this in the newspaper the other day. According to a survey by the Bombay Times, 70% women fake orgasms to avoid hurting men's feelings, which I find hilarious because 100% men fake feelings. But because we travel so much, we obviously fly these really fancy airlines like Air India. I think Air India is the only airline in the world where their aircraft has an extra set of tires. Called cabin crew. You've seen them, right? The crew in Air India, they're old. Like some of the crew in Air India, they're so old, they joined the airline before the Wright brothers invented the first plane, Some of the crew in Air India, they are so old, every time they pass by, I have to get up and offer them my seat. But then when we land, we check into these really fancy hotels that have very fancy elevators. Elevators have become fancy now. You guys all used one, right? At some point in time or the other, yeah? Have you guys noticed this new feature that elevators have? It's called the elevator man. You notice that guy who takes on the dangerous and monumental responsibility of making sure you get from one floor to the other floor safely. I have to say, this is a career that has a lot of ups and downs, no? And how do they recruit for a job like this? Is there a posting on Naukri.com that says looking for elevator man? Must be good with numbers. And should be ready for a quick rise to the top. I don't know how. Have you guys been to Hypercity? Yeah, Hypercity is Disneyland for grocery shoppers. It has everything. You can find anything in Hypercity, even Nemo. It's fantastic, But I'm not from Bombay. I'm not from here. I'm from this other place down south of Bombay. I don't think you've heard of it. It's called Goa. Guys, been there? Yeah, yeah. Let me just clarify this up top, right? Goa is God's gift to Kerala. Just letting you know. Because they're quite alike, aren't they? Goa and Kerala. Kind of like sisters, except that Goa is the hot one that everybody likes to hang out with. And Kerala, the other one you go to when you need a massage. But Goa is popular for so many reasons, right? It's popular for its culture, its parties, its cuisine, and ghost stories. Yeah, this is true. The next time you're in Goa, try this. Speak to a local. Every local in Goa has a ghost story. And in all these ghost stories, there's a ghost. And for some reason, all the ghosts are always asking for a lift. So when I hear these stories, I get very confused. I'm like, how do you tell a regular person apart from a ghost? I ask my friends. And I should, this is what they say to me, right? Pay attention. If the person asking for a lift has their feet bent backwards, it's a ghost. I'm thinking, bloody hell, if your feet are bent backwards, you have to ask for a lift. So I was reading this tourism report, right, the other day, and apparently out of all the people that visit Goa, right, the largest number of visitors are Gujaratis. And as someone who has lived there and observed how they behave, right, let me put these numbers into perspective, right? Like regular people, normal folks, you guys like Goa, yes? Yeah, Gujaratis love Goa. They love Goa so much they don't arrive to Goa, they descend into Goa. 5 million at a time. All in one bus called Janardhan Travels. And this bus reaches Goa at 8 in the morning. That's when the first Gujarati gets off. 8:30 in the evening is when the last Gujarati gets off. And meanwhile, the local Goans are confused, wondering what the hell is going on over here, Because Goans can only count till 68. At 69, they think they have to turn around and start again.
Some patriotic songs started. First on the Pakistan side, some songs started, some Ilai Ilai Pakistan or something like that. In the Pakistanis look confused. Kaun sa gana chala hai log ne? Then over here, Aman ki Asha's elder sister Lata Didi, she started singing. "Ae mere watan." So we started singing. Even the Pakistanis started singing.